How do you do, ladies and turds, and welcome. Happy Metroid Dread Day. After a long wait, we are finally here, October 8th, 2021. I just wanted to share some launch day stories here, right? Because I went exploring outside to different stores. I talked to some people and I asked, a few questions about the amiibos, the special edition, and Metroid Dread. I was like, oh my lord, I can't believe it's finally here. E3 feels like it just happened yesterday, where I was excited, oh, it's finally happening. We're getting a new Metroid. During their Nintendo Direct at E3, the moment they showed Metroid Dread was a real thing and it was coming out in October, I believe pre-orders were made available on their website, but they didn't show the amiibo or special edition right there. They waited until after their Direct finished, which was maybe 40 minutes later, and by that point, everything was already sold out, right? The amiibos and special editions have been sold out since basically June and July. Maybe every now and then you can find maybe one or two restocks, right? Some places had a few, but they go out like that, so fast. And so I was determined today. I was like, all right, I tried entering a contest on Twitter. My boys, Cheap Ass Gamer, they were doing a contest for Metroid, and I was I had positive thoughts the entire week. I'm like, I'm gonna win this contest, right? Universe, you are going to link yourself with my thoughts, positive thoughts only, right? I am not going to lose. I am not going to lose. I will win this contest 100%. And so I'm sitting there, right? I'm just like, okay, might as well wait and see how this goes. As I'm scrolling through, Twitter, I see something that I remembered. I was like, oh, what the turd, I completely forgot about this. Nintendo, on their new Club Nintendo website, they're giving away this holographic Metroid poster, right? The way it works, basically in the Club Nintendo days, if you buy a new game or a console or something, it comes with, in the manual, a little piece of paper. You take that paper, sign into your account, put those numbers in there, and you get coins, right? The bigger the purchase, the more coins you get. The thing though is that it wasn't available for purchase yet, right? It just said coming soon, but they're not showing for how much it's gonna cost, right? How many coins it's gonna be. And I look at my account and I have I think it was 1 or 200 coins. I don't know if that's enough, right? I'm looking through what they have available now, and I see they have this Zelda acrylic poster or whatever the turd it is, and that was 1,000 coins. And I'm like, okay, if this one is 1,000 coins, it's kind of a special. Maybe the Metroid holographic one is gonna be also 1,000 coins. The main way to get points is basically purchasing games, and I think putting the codes or something. I don't remember if they still do that like Club Nintendo, but the separate way was basically, going on the website and completing these different challenges, right? Okay, so I see, Fire Emblem mobile game, you can get a million different points here, but the problem is I don't have a mobile device, so I can't really play it. Okay, you have the Animal Crossing mobile game, same thing. You can get so many points, but I don't have a phone. Mario Run mobile game, I'm like, okay, things aren't looking good for me. I don't know, but I'm gonna try. I go all the way down to the bottom, and it says Nintendo services or something. And these are the easy ones. These you don't need a phone or anything. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take advantage of this. Go to the Hyrule Warriors website, click on different symbols, find the 5 Pikmin, find the different stickers for Mario 3D World. It was random stuff like that, right? It was a little bit tedious, it felt like. So, I did maybe 2 or 3, and then I kind of forgot about it, right? The day happened, right? I waited a week, and I didn't win the contest. The day was yesterday, right? October 7th. One of my Patreon boys, MTZ, if you're listening, this one's for you. He gives me a message. He's like, oi, Jaku, what is it, MTZ? Hey, I got a gift here for you. And I'm like, a gift? What do you mean a gift? What are you talking about? He entered a contest, right? And he was able to win a special edition from Europe. I'll give you this. I don't need a second copy. If you want it, it's yours. And I'm just like, oh, wait. I was like, are you serious? Are you you mean that? This gift you're giving to me? He says he's not sure 100% if the contest was legit or whatever, but he said, if he gets it and all that stuff, he'll send it over to me. And I'm like, yes, please, that would be awesome. By gift, does he mean this one's on the house, here you go, it's for you for free? Does he mean that kind of gift? Because that would be very thoughtful, MTZ. That would be very nice of you, if you help a brother out here, I got flies in my wallet. Patreon isn't supporting me enough, of course. I'm not making those big bucks as I thought I would. Anyways, I was excited. I was like, oh, that is so cool. Thank you. thank you for telling me this. That is awesome. Like, I basically gave up on ever finding the amiibo or special edition, right? I was just kind of happy to be able to play the game, right? Like, Metroid Dread is out. I wasn't planning to go outside and, see if they have a launch and whatever, but you know what? You have filled me up with determination now. Now I'm ready, okay? It's not every day we get a Metroid game. I want to see if there's other fans there. I'm going to see if, they have promotional stuff ready. And that kind of like kickstarted this whole journey, right? And I'm asking Shepity, I'm like, oi, Shepity, come on, let's go, let's go explore. Let's go to like Target or GameStop or whatever. And let's go see if they have, the amiibos, or if they're doing a midnight release, or, if they're giving out any posters and stuff, right? Like, that was my mission. And Shepity's like, you can, you'll play the game. You'll find videos online. I'm like, Shepity, come on. But I was like, you know what? I'm determined. I've got my, brush my hair here, make sure my teeth are clean, brought my mask, and I went start my journey, right? Even if I don't get anything, right? Let me just go there and ask, right? Because you never know what's gonna happen. I go to Target, right? I'm walking. There's a Nintendo aisle. I'm like, there you go, bam, shalam. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, there is no posters, right? Like, no Metroid Dread posters. I'm like, no promotion. All I saw was that they had that giant TV showing the E3 trailer of Metroid Dread, as well as like a little picture on the side, at least showing that, this game is real and it's coming out soon. And as I'm looking around, right, I see this giant like Mario statue on a pole. I'm like, okay, at least that is kind of cool, right? And I was like, okay, whatever. Tomorrow's the release day, so maybe, they'll have something there. And, since I'm here, might as well just look around and, browse. We have all these different games and, little gift cards and everything. I was surprised, though, they did still have the Skyward Sword Loftwing amiibo. There's like at least maybe like 4 or 5 available to purchase. And I know when Skyward Sword came out, people were like trying to get this and it was sold out everywhere. And so I was surprised to see that. I even still see the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, right? Like the physical case, that was discontinued back in March or something, and it's October and there's still copies being sold. Nintendo over here with their, oh, you better buy it now or you're gonna miss out. Yet I can just walk into the store and pick it up right there. And so as I'm looking around, right, I'm like, there's this lady, right, on the right of me. Can you come here? I need some help. And I don't say anything, right? Like, I just look at her, I have my mask on, and I'm like, I just point to myself, because I'm like, are you talking to me? Like, nobody talks to me. Everyone is, everyone walks away and are scared. Like, why would you talk to me? Yeah, you, come here. I have a question, right? My son, he has the Nintendo Switch, and she's pointing at the display models. He has this one, the one with the controllers, where they come off. Like, I thought the way it works, you take the controller off, and 2 players can play a game together. We can't play 2 players. Basically, like, at this point, I turn into full, like, customer support, right? I should be getting paid for this, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I know stuff about games, I know stuff about the Switch, now's my chance, let's do this. Which game are you trying to play? I'm trying to play, let's see, where is it? It's a Mario game. I'm like, which one of these? Here's the Mario games. And she points to Mario Odyssey. And I was like, oh, Mario Odyssey is mainly a single player game, but there's a 2-player mode where you play as the hat. But you are correct, right? If you take the controllers out and you play them sideways, you can technically play as 2 players as long as the game you're playing supports that. And then in my head, I was like, all right, anime, put the glasses on. I'm like, now's my chance. I was like, come here. And we went from the Mario Odyssey, scrolled down. I was like, come here. You want to get this game right here. Super Mario 3D World. I will preach that game to the end, especially if you have, children or toddlers or friends and you have multiple controllers. Pick that game up, right? And I told her this. I'm like, this is what you want to play if you want to play at the same time. I have this one, but I haven't tried it yet. If I get one of these, controllers, will this work? Oh, yeah, these will work too. You can get the Joy-Cons, which are exactly the same as the ones you have on the Switch. And the only thing is, they're a bit expensive. You can get the official Pro controller here, which is basically the same thing, except you can't take them apart like the Joy-Cons. Or you can get the cheaper, like, third-party kind of like Pro controller. That works too. And also you can't use the motion controls as well as the amiibos. Okay, thank you for sharing. I just wanted to play, 2-player games with my son, and, I couldn't get it to work. I just don't understand any of the stuff. And I'm like, it's okay, it happens, it's just how it goes, And then she thanked me and she waddled off. And I was like, I feel good about that one. I think, that was a good experience. Write that one down. That was a, top-notch experience. And so I'm over here feeling all, high and mighty. I'm like, you know what? Let's go to GameStop right now. I'm ready. Let's go see if they have the Metroid amiibo, the special edition. I'm gonna walk in there. I'm gonna ask them. Like, my confidence was there and I was ready to get in there, ask for a Metroid poster and, the amiibo and special edition, and kind of like the Crash Bandicoot midnight release, right? I was hoping, that would happen here too. And so I walk up, I open the door, I get inside, door closes, I turn around, and there is nobody there. This GameStop is empty, right? Like, they have the games on display and everything, but it's like empty. There's nobody there except the one guy at the cashier, right? He's got like this huge beard, no expression in his voice. He's just like, he's kind of dead on the inside. I was like, no, my boy. And he looks right at me. I'm standing right at the door and he asks me, can I help you with something? I swear I stood there staring at him for like, it felt like 10 years. But I think it was actually 10 seconds of just silence, me staring at him, my booty cheeks are sweating, and I'm like, no, I'm just looking around. And so I walk around to the games, right? And I'm like, okay, I need to breathe a little bit, right? Like, I don't know, I could have just asked him right there on the spot, right? But I don't know if it was his beautiful beard, the way he was staring at me, or maybe it was just, because there was nobody there in this GameStop, right? It was empty. Like, if I fart, you can hear it echoing to the other side of the room. And so maybe that kind of threw me off, made me a little bit nervous. I'm like, okay, just breathe, just look at stuff, right? Like, let's see what they have first, calm down a little bit, and then go ask the guy, my question right after that. I spent maybe 10 or 15 minutes just kind of slowly making my way through, right? Like, everything they have. It's a little bit awkward, he's over there either cleaning the desk or something, or just staring, just straight into the void at nothing. And sometimes I look over a little bit, the corner of my eye. I don't want to seem suspicious or anything, right? I'm just walking around and, I just feel a little, nervous, a little bit weird. And I see the giant poster, Metroid Dread, available October 8th and everything. And I pick up the little display box. I look at the back and the front. I'm like, this is cool. This game is out. I can't believe it. It's coming out the next day. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I turned to this guy, right? And as I turned to him, there was somebody in line. I was like, wait, what? When did this lady come out of nowhere? And so I'm like, oh, never mind. Turn back. This lady's doing her thing. I go back to looking at my games and stuff, right? As I'm looking through, another dude comes out of nowhere, right? And I'm like, what the dirt is this? They keep ruining my plan. I turn around, right? Second dude is about to leave. And third guy comes out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, Lordy Jesus, okay. And I know I can get in line and, wait my turn and whatever. But like I said, I was kind of sweating at this point. I was really weird. And for all the, ladies and turds out there that have a mask and wear glasses, you probably know very well, when you wear a mask, your glasses get fogged up every single time you're trying to breathe. So you see how my glasses, it might be hard to see on the camera. And when I look up, I guess my glasses are getting more foggy. I'm getting sweaty. I'm over here like this trying to adjust my glasses. I'm just like in the corner. I'm all being weird. The guy probably doesn't even notice me. He's doing his thing, right, with the customers. And I'm just like, oh dear God, what have I gotten myself into, right? Something that should have taken maybe no more than 5 minutes. I'm over here already spent like 30 minutes in this store being all weird. And I swear, this third guy that came out of nowhere, he was talking to himself or something, right? Like he was whispering stuff to himself. Oh, not this one, not this one. No, not this one, not this one. And then I swear, 100%, I don't know if this is what he said, but this is what I heard. Not this one, not this one. Oh, I farted. And then he turns around and walks to the cashier out in a store when it's closed off and you say it out loud. I was like, that's another level. Anyways, this guy leaves. And I'm over here, it's just me and the bearded, cashier dude. Now he's staring right at me. And I feel him staring at me as I'm looking at these posters. And I feel weird. I'm sweating and I'm like, I turn around to him, right? We stare at each other for like 5 seconds. I give him one of these. Metroid Dread, are you having a midnight release? The game comes out tomorrow. In my head, I'm just like, well, yeah, it comes out tomorrow. That's why I'm asking if you're having a midnight release. Midnight, 12 o'clock goes to tomorrow. There was no emotion in his voice. The way he responded to me was just cold. And I'm just like, okay, that didn't work, okay? Now I have to be committed, right? I already asked him one question. We're still staring at each other. 10 seconds of silence goes by. I'm like, all right, there's, I can't just pretend to look at games again. I have to fully commit, right? Are you giving away any posters or free stuff with Metroid? No. My confidence from the store at Target was just slowly crushing down. I was like, oh lordy Jesus, what's going on? I know he was probably working all day and maybe he just feels a little dead on the inside from being a game flop. I don't know, whatever it is. I was already feeling weird, right? From being alone in this giant place, right? Do you have any of the amiibos or special edition? No. The amiibos I know we will have tomorrow, but at 10 a.m. they will sell out fast. I was like, all right, I gotta use this to leave. And right as I hold the door, I turn back to him and I tell him, I like your beard. Thanks. And I wanted to ask him, like, oh, I like your beard. Can you tell me, like, I was like, I wouldn't mind little tips and stuff. But at that point, I was just like, okay, I just gotta get out of here. I need to breathe. I need to go outside, take this mask off, Jesus. So I just kind of left. I tell Shippy the story, we laugh and everything, and I'm like, oh my lord, I can't believe I just did that. Like, what the turd? If GameFlop or other places aren't having a midnight release, maybe I can just do it myself, right? Just do a little celebration here. It's basically like 5 or 10 minutes to midnight, and I have all the websites open. I have GameStop open, I have Target, Best Buy, Amazon, right? Like, I have all of these open, and I'm waiting, pressing refresh, right? I was kind of tired of refreshing all like 8 or whatever pages, so I just used this like extension, and it refreshed it for me automatically. It's midnight, right? I'm waiting for this to do its thing, but nothing's happening. No items are getting restocked and nothing, right? I'm like, huh, that's weird. I go on Twitter, right? I scroll down and I see a message saying, Metroid holographic posters are now in stock. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, they're in stock. Like, I got a full speed. Like I said, the entire week, I was slowly trying to do one of these challenges, but they're not the most fun thing. They're kind of tedious. I have like 450 coins at this point, and they showed, all right, Metroid holographic is 1,000 points. I scroll down, I have still like a handful left, and I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be enough, right? To go from 400 to 1,000. I don't know if I'm going to have enough. And so I'm over here for the next like 5 or 10 minutes going full speed, right? Typing in Google, Super Mario 3D World. 1 sticker, go to the next page, 2 sticker, next page, scroll down. I'm like, all right, next challenge. I got 5 points from that. Next challenge, find all 5 or 6 Pikmin, right? Okay, Pikmin website, find 1 Pikmin, 2 Pikmin, 3, okay, scroll 5, 6, right? Next challenge, look it up on Google, Hyrule Warriors website, find all the different symbols. Okay, scroll down 1, scroll down 2, 3. Basically, I was going at full speed at this point, right? I think it took me like 5 or 10 minutes, just full speed, sweating over here. I looked up, I'm like, please be enough, please be enough. I scroll up and I have 1,040 coins. Barely enough, right? I was like, oh, I have it. Okay, go to the site, right, for the poster, press purchase now. And it worked. I got this code and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, wait. My heart sank, right? I was happy, but then my heart sank. I'm like, is it a digital, like, holographic poster? Like, why would they give me a code? What is this? Well, I'm like, what does this mean? Wait a second. Did I get bootlegged? And I scroll down and they have instructions. They're like, okay, go to this page, put your code in there, and press enter. And I'm like, okay, does that... So it is a physical poster. I put my information, and guess what they do? You have to pay for tax and shipping. I was like, wait, what? I'm grateful that I was able to get the poster for 1,000 coins, of course. But back in the Club Nintendo days, I don't think you had to pay for shipping or tax or anything. I get the shipping, I got the poster, secured. And I hear a beeping, beep, 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 beep. I'm like, what is that sound? And it's the Now in Stock website. Every time there's an item in stock and you have it checked, it beeps. It makes a sound, right? And my pages are being refreshed and it still says out of stock. I'm like, why? It still says out of stock. Target for the amiibos shows in stock. The special edition in stock. I almost have a heart attack at this point. I'm like, oh, what? What is this? As I'm doing all this, I keep my boys in the chat all updated. I'm like, if you want the amiibo, hurry, Target, get it now. And the page is automatically refreshing, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't have time for this. I turn the extension off for the amiibo one, right? I'm like, okay, let me do it one at a time. Amiibo, it says it's in cart. Okay. Put my address, all that stuff. Processing. Bam! You got the amiibo. And I'm like, yes! I got an amiibo! And my hands were shaking. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, you know, people have been waiting like 5 whatever months, 6 months, and I just got one just like that. Amiibo, fine. I'm happy with the Amiibo. Let's see if I can get the special edition. I wasn't planning to buy both. The Amiibo is like $30, special edition is like 80 or 90, and the game is like 60. That's like 100, I don't know, $60? That's a lot. That's I don't make enough money on Patreon to be able to afford that, okay? If you want to help change that, then please, I would appreciate it a lot. I, you know, could use the help. You know, please support me on Patreon. Please. I need a new microphone. It's been basically like 2 or 5 minutes now since I saw the notification that the items were in stock, right? The item is in my cart, right? I'm like, okay, putting all the stuff, you know, it's processing, and I didn't get it. I didn't get the special edition. I'm just happy that I was able to get the, you know, Amiibo at least, right? I may not be a billionaire. I can't buy, you know, every single, like all of this are gifts, right? Except that, the helmet, I made that. And so hearing, you know, MTZ that he says he has a special edition, an extra one, I was so happy, and I was like, oh, blessed be. Thanks for looking out for me, right? Like, you know, thanks for being one of the boys, right? As one Metroid fan to another, right? Like, you know, it just means a lot, right? So thank you for that. Like I said, the story so far, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm probably just going to leave all the details in there because it's kind of crazy. At that point, it was already like 12:30 or 1 a.m. or something. I gotta go to sleep early so I can wake up, you know, right before the store opens. And I have the biggest grin on my face as I'm trying to fall asleep, basically. I'm so excited. I'm sitting there, right? I'm gonna get Metroid Dread. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna have the Amiibos. They're gonna look so cool on the shelf, and like the special edition, I'm gonna be able to look through the art book. That steel case, how cool is that? Finally, we get to what happens after Fusion, the story, new Metroid game. What timeline are we living in right now, right? The alarm goes, I look, I'm like, all right, it's time. Let's go see in stores and let's see what happens. Just, you know, to continue the story a little bit more, let's just see, right? The parking lot is completely empty, right? And I'm standing there, I'm like, can I go in? And then maybe 1-2 minutes later, these two dudes walk up next to me. Are you here for the Pokemon cards? And he was telling me like there was like a new Pokemon cards being released and stuff. And so he was just telling me all this. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. I don't think he knew what Metroid was. I don't even know if he played games. I'm not sure. But I was telling him about this and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm looking if they have Amiibos or like the special edition or something. You know, it's been sold out for months. And now if you go online, it goes for like $500, right? Something sparked in his eyes. Maybe I should buy that too, right? That's a good idea. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, you know, support the franchise. And he got on the phone and called somebody. Like, yeah, we're gonna get this new Switch. You pay for half and I pay for half. And then this Metroid stuff, right? And then we're gonna flip it on eBay and we're gonna make a lot of money. My heart was a little broken. I'm like, oh no, this isn't the kind of guy I wanted to promote this to. You know, I wanted to tell this to fans, and so I felt a little bad. I'm like, oh geez. Another guy came like behind him, and he's like, oh, are you here for the Switch OLED? I'm like, oh, that comes out today? I forgot that was released on the same day as Metroid Dread. I was in the front, and so I'm, you know, it was nice. I was talking to them, right? We were just having a nice interaction. The door opens, and we walk in, right? The two dudes that were next to me, they're kind of like speed walking. And right at the kind of like the front, they have like this wall of like cards and stuff, right? And so I just see them go in there and, you know, they're just talking about their stuff. I didn't see him anywhere by the Amiibos or anything, so I think he just got his Pokemon cards and forgot. Now it was just me and the Switch OLED guy, right? And then some other dude tries to take some shortcut, you know, over there or whatever. I don't see any Amiibos, I don't see any special editions. I'm like, huh. That's kind of weird. And then one of the workers came up to us and he's like, oh, you need help with the Metroid and Switch? Come with us. And as we go there, this random dude, right, that was walking, took the shortcut. He's in his hands holding 2 Switch OLED models, right? Well, sorry, those were our last 2. We can't help you there, right? But I was there in line. I was like number 4. This guy was like number 7 or something. He just cut in front. Sorry, I can't do anything. He picked them up first and he's buying them. And then I told him, I'm like, oh, go check GameStop. They might have more Switch models. And then he walked away. I walk up and there it is. He has maybe like 4 Metroid Amiibos. And I'm like, oh my lord, there it is. Right there in person. I bought it online, right? Can I exchange and can I put the, you know, order for the physical one here? And so in other words, there you go. Instead of waiting a few days, I got it right here. Look at that. I'm sweating. Woo! Because that was quite a story, but I got it. Ladies and turds, it's here. It looks a little bit smaller in person, but maybe I just forgot like kind of how small amiibos are. It was quite a journey just to get this. I was happy, right? I was like, oh, that is awesome. Do you have any posters or anything that comes with this, or do you have this special edition? Basically all they were sent were like 3 or 4 amiibos. Special editions they never had in person. I think that was like an online thing only. And then there was nothing for posters. Like it wasn't even in the shelves. The amiibos were sitting right there in the little carts, right? Brings me a little tear that they were kind of just laying there like that. I'm like, come on, handle them at least a little bit nicely. So I went there and I got it right on time. I wish your packages, this art, right? This box art, it looks so fancy. And I always feel so bad. Like I want to take the amiibos out and put them on shelves and stuff, but I don't want to destroy the box. It's here, it's physically here, it's true. No delays, no nothing. Metroid Dread is here. And when I got the Metroid amiibo in my hands, I just kind of held it up, right? Like I just looked at it and I'm like, I have it. I have it in my hands. It's right here. And as I'm just looking at this and, recording, the guy working there, he's trying to walk by and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm in the way, sorry. It was still like 8:30 a.m. or something, right? And GameStop opens at 10 a.m. I have some time to explore. Let me just look around and see what they have here in the store, right? They have the Nickelodeon Smash Bros game, basically. So if you don't care about Sora DLC or Smash Ultimate, at least you have Nickelodeon to play. They have the Crash Insane Trilogy for $10. My copy got destroyed by rats. I don't have an Xbox One though, right? But $10 is a steal of a deal. And then what I thought was kind of funny, right? You see all these games here, like they're just kind of out on display and everything. And then you see this booty hole and you zoom in and you see it's Sonic Colors Ultimate Remaster. I'm like, why is that hiding in the background there? It's not just the Xbox version. The PlayStation 4 version is hiding in the background too. And now, something that I am not happy to see, right? A physical PlayStation 5 game, would you look at that? I saw this price tag and I was like, $70? Like $60 is already, quite a lot. First, it was Final Fantasy 7 and now Ghost of Tsushima, as well as Ratchet and Clank. It seems like new PlayStation 5 games are marked up to $70. I don't want to live in a future where games are $70 or more now. That's kind of hogwash. Especially when you turn around and the controllers are literally the same price. Except for this red one for some reason. I know it's a lot of work and everything goes into a game, but like, Jesus. And I saw, Halloween is coming up, right? And so they had some DVDs out on display. When I look all the way to the top and stuff, Hocus Pocus of all things, right? Like, I didn't know this movie was such a classic. I grew up watching Hocus Pocus back in the toddler days. I never heard anyone talking about it. Same with, the games I played. Way to go, Hocus Pocus. You're coming back. Right next to the DVDs was like the book section, right? And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, you got, hoarder stuff and everything. And I look at the top and I'm like, wait, what the turd? What is that? More Hocus Pocus? I'm like, wait a second. And I'm like, there's a book on Hocus Pocus? All new sequel? And it said 20 years later. And she finds herself face to face with the Sanderson sisters. So they, they return, which is awesome. I was just kind of caught off guard to see all the Hocus Pocus, like, love. But it doesn't end there either. There was Hocus Pocus the game. I'm like, what the turd is this? The Sanderson sisters, they are back or something. I don't know, it's some kind of board game. I was just surprised. But if you want more Hocus Pocus, well, how about you pick up, some of these like glass mugs here, right? You rather prefer, plastic containers? We have some of those too, as well as, whatever the turd this little box thing is. And if that's not enough, right? Custom ice cube makers right here. You want one in orange? You want one in black? Oh, what about yellow? Take them all and go ahead. You want to make cookies? We have Hocus Pocus, specially shaped cookie cutters right there for you. But you can't make Hocus Pocus cookies without a special Hocus Pocus spoon, right? So pick up, the yellow one. Oh, look, remember that quote from the movie? What about the purple one here? Remember that one? Oh, maybe you're a fan of the orange one. And if watching Hocus Pocus wasn't enough, or reading the book, or drinking out of the custom-made ice cubes, then how about you sleep on Hocus Pocus too, right? Because they had like 5 or 6 different fabrics available. Let's make a pillow out of this one. Let's make a bed sheet out of this one. How about some curtains with some beautiful Hocus Pocus, design? And if that wasn't enough Hocus Pocus for you, then go pick up the Amuk Amuk Hocus Pocus cupcake kit, right? And you will 100% be the coolest cat in your neighborhood. Guaranteed. And as much as I love this movie, I have never seen so much Hocus Pocus stuff all at one time. It's kind of crazy. And now look at this, children are so spoiled. They get the entire Captain Underpants in full color. And back in my day, ladies and turds, Captain Underpants was not only a softcover book, but also black and white. So you had to use the power of your imagination to enjoy the luxuries of full color. I remember reading the first book, the second one with the giant toilets, that was awesome. And I also remember this one, I think that's number 3, with that crazy hair lady. I don't know if anyone had Scholastic magazines back in the toddler days. I think it was when you ordered Captain Underpants, they send you a ring, like a red ring, and it's like a hypnotized ring. And I remember my friend had that, and I was so jealous of him. I would 100% recommend watching the animated movie that came out like a few years ago. That's how you make a book to movie adaptation. Look at this, Spooky Tales of Captain Underpants. This looks like a third-party, unofficial licensed bootleg. Then I kept going and I'm like, oh my lord, what is this? 100% unofficial Among Us game guide. Stop being so sus. And I just like shook my head, right? But they have the full gravity size journal right here. I want to have this in my collection. If you haven't seen Gravity Falls, 100% go watch the show after this video, of course, you know. Watch my video all the way through, support me on Patreon, and then go watch Gravity Falls. Every single person who watches it will enjoy it, right? Doesn't matter who you are, there's something for everyone. It's one of my favorite shows ever made. And keeping on with the theme of that, right? I saw a lot of He-Man stuff. I know that Netflix like show came out and that was awesome. I was tempted, right? I'm like, I don't have the cash. I am here for Metroid. Basically the original like 80s figurines, but reprinted or something for 2021. Look at that. What a turd. That is so cool. And you know, if Metroid, He-Man, Hocus Pocus wasn't enough, right? What year is this? Like where am I right now? I'm like, what the turd is that? Gargoyles? I'm like, wait, what? I haven't heard that name since the toddler days. You know, people had their Batman animated series. I grew up with gargoyles. Stone by day, warriors by night. We are gargoyles. Every time I hear that, it just the theme song starts playing in the background. Apparently it's a Gargoyles board game. That is so cool. I don't know, but Gargoyles is awesome, and if you haven't seen it, Top Notch would recommend it. I think you would like it a lot. Something that completely caught me off guard and just made me laugh. First of all, it's a little weird, right? To see the Phantom of the Opera have a figurine. I'm like, okay, the movie is awesome, right? Like it's a classic horror movie. But not only that, I had to zoom in on that face. Just look at that beautiful accuracy. They're basically the exact same person, right? The resemblance couldn't have been any better. It's on point, green skin and everything. And as I kept moving on, basically I saw an entire aisle dedicated to like Mario and Sonic stuff, right? You had modern version of Shadow over here, looks kind of derpy. Sonic didn't look any better himself, of course, and they also had like the classic versions of these characters too. There was also Chow from the Chow Gardens. I remember in Sonic Adventure 2, that's basically all I did in that game, as well as only one derpy looking Eggman right here. Maybe Eggman is popular, I don't know. As I was like, alright, I think I've seen everything that I need to see. The dude just restocked it. Metroid Dread in stock right there. 50 different copies or something. I'm like, oh yes, how awesome is that? Metroid Dread on shelves, a new Metroid game in stores, right? All around the world. That is awesome. That is awesome. I looked down and there were the 3 amiibos left, right? Just peacefully sitting there as people slowly started walking in the store. But when I came back to the store one day later, the amiibos were completely gone. The entire section was just empty. So if you didn't get the chance to get it, on release day, well, good luck to you because it might be a lot harder to find them now. And not much has changed since then, but they replaced the Skyward Sword, banners here with Metroid Dread on both sides. And it made me really happy, right? This is what I wanted to see on launch day. One day off, it's okay, still counts. And then I was like, all right, it's almost, 9:30 a.m. I should go to GameStop at this point, right? I arrived and there were already like 6 or 7 people in line, like waiting. And the guy next to me, he's here for, I think, Pokemon cards. The guy after that, he pre-ordered a Metroid Dread. Some other people were here for a Switch model. And so we had a nice chat, right? Like we waited maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. It was fun. I was like around people who played games and like, who were there and, we got along. Hey, what did you think of the new, DLC for Smash Bros, Sora? I like the other Smash Bros games. I hope Sakurai, that he can focus on other games. I love Kirby's Air Ride. And Sonic Riders, I grew up with that. I didn't have Kirby. And I'm like, I didn't like Sonic Riders. I don't know how to play that game. He just gave me a stare. They opened the door. We went in, right? This time it was two different guys, right? I felt a little more at ease because there was more people there at the store instead of just me. The lines were separated. All the pre-orders were on one side and all the other people were on the other side, right? I see in the back, right? He has 4 Metroid amiibos. Let me ask him, if I pick up this Metroid amiibo, do I still get the pre-order pin? Let me check online and stuff, right? Or let me check the database. We only have, the exact amount as people who pre-ordered. There's no extra ones. That's bootleg, but it's okay. And then I kind of waddled off. I didn't really record there. I just kind of asked him that question and I walked away. I came back home and I started recording right away, so that's why I look kind of sweaty a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to check, GameStop's online website and see if it's still possible to pre-order the game. I checked and it was, right? So I pre-ordered and I got the pins. Actually, no, that was a bamboozle, but how cool would have that been, if that was in the story too? Instead, I found one for $10, right, on eBay, and they are much smaller than I thought. Compared to the amiibos right here, they're no bigger than maybe, the front display case right there. It's cool that they're, fully made of metal, and it comes with 2, right? They're shiny, it's nice to feel. I don't think I'd ever use this, but it's just kind of crazy to think about that. This is official Nintendo Metroid merchandise right there. However, even though it was already October 8th, right? And pre-orders were basically finished, I checked Walmart and I found out that, theirs was still available. I was like, that's kind of weird, but I'm not going to ask any questions, right? Let me just order it and see how that goes. I basically wait 1 day and full speed, I get this here time-sensitive product box. That's kind of small, but I guess only things in here are, Metroid Dread, the physical version for the Switch, and what's supposed to be a glass mug. Out of all the things you could have chosen, that's a really weird one. I find the game is fine, right? All sealed and everything, but the mug, however, came in this like little cardboard, box thing right here. And the only thing protecting the game and the mug in here are 3 of these little air packet things, right? It was basically all shattered, as you can see, right? The top, I can't really drink out of that, otherwise I would cut my lip. The handle is completely missing, and all the little pieces were just scattered throughout the box right there. I should have probably thought that, maybe a box and, glass, they probably don't like mix together very well. But then again, I also thought that maybe Walmart would have shipped it a little bit better. On Reddit, people were saying that, their mugs were basically destroyed as well. It kind of happens, right? It's a little bit bootleg. I would have rather it be all in one piece. I guess it is what it is. However, in the box, there was one more item, and that was this here receipt, right? And I'm looking at it and it says, it's coming over to me. I got not 1, but 2 of these mugs, sent over to me, and I got charged twice. Basically a total of $131.74. And I was like, wait, I think that's a mistake. Like, I only got it once, right? Nowhere on my thing did it say I got charged twice. Like, everywhere I checked, my email, PayPal, all that stuff, it said it was like $67 or something, right? And so I was just wondering, like, why was it twice? Like, did I get charged twice? Am I getting bootlegged? So basically, I took the box, put everything inside, and I went to Walmart, right? And I told the lady exactly what I, just mentioned here on the camera. She's scanning the receipt and it's not working. For some reason, it's not showing up on her computer. So you have your like original order, and I gave it to her, she scanned it, and that worked, right? The same thing with her on the computer and everything. She only saw it once. So it must have been just a misprint, like a accident. I would like to refund. She takes the game, gives me my cash back, and she says I can basically keep the mug because it was like a free item. And for $4, I picked up this heavy-duty Gorilla Glue, and I carefully put together each piece of the mug. So I mean, it kind of looks, like it's not broken at all from a distance. I'm just gonna have to remember not to use this thing, because I'm afraid that if I even hold it by the handle, it would immediately fall and shatter, completely destroying the thing from this point on. But as a display piece, I think it looks pretty nice for the price of $0. I'm carrying this box around with me throughout, Walmart, and I go to the electronics section, and they have right there a poster, Metroid Dread. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's at least something there, right? There's this kind of like big one saying, release date October 8th, whatever. And it's like a hard kind of like cardstock material. I wish I could take this with me, right? Because I know they're probably just gonna throw this out. And then when you get closer to like where the actual game is behind the glass, there's like a little standee thing, like a cardboard thing right next to it right there. And when I looked at the game, it wasn't $60, it was $49 right there. The game just came out, right? That's the lowest I've seen anywhere online right now. And in case you missed out the first time, they also still have the Super Mario 3D All-Stars right there ready for purchase, as well as all the way at the bottom, like 5 copies of Sonic Colors Ultimate. In every single store I've been to, this game seems to have just been getting bootlegged all over the place. They also had this toilet board game. I looked it up, you roll the dice, take a flush, and you try to grab the flying turds. And while I was at the store, I actually overheard a toddler with his mom walking around, and he was actually saying like, "Mom, I want that one. That's the poop game from the commercials." And I don't know about you, but I don't think toddlers need to be taught that grabbing flying turds from the toilet is something that, you know, they should be doing, right? Turds belong in the toilet, not out of it. And I'm surprised to still see that Game of Life is still a thing, even though it's a board game, right? I grew up with the original PC game a million years ago, and even though, you know, that's kind of like the only game we had, it was pure cheese, but nowadays it's a little bit rusty. And finally, there was like an entire Hot Wheels section, and I saw, you know, they had Wario for $3, as well as like an entire collection of, you know, Waluigi, Luigi, Mario, Peach, Shy Guy. But what if you don't like Mario, right? Well, don't worry, because Robotnik is here to save the day, right? He's kind of derpy looking, right? Because like Eggman is so huge, he can barely fit into this car. And then after coming home, right, I was like really hungry. I'm like, all right, all day I've been, you know, out exploring Metroid Dread and, you know, basically just, you know, enjoying the launch day. I need some snacks. And so what better way to celebrate, you know, Metroid Dread than to have like a little party. I flinged out some tater tots over there, had those. We had like giant like 3 pizzas. It was good stuff. I took a turd later. It was magical. And I was like, you know what? It only feels right if I finish Metroid Dread Day by actually streaming the game all the way until midnight. I enjoyed my snacks, right? I got the stream ready and everything. I made this really cool overlay and I started playing for about like 1 to 3 hours. And let me tell you, that game so far is top notch. 19 years is kind of a long time, but it was well worth the wait. I really like the controls. I like the little HD rumble that it gives in your hands every time you're either shooting your cannon or getting hit. I really like that your counterattack now you can also move and counter. That's pretty new. Samus can slide, which is awesome, right? Basically, you know, there's little details in there that I noticed as well. If you're walking up to a wall, Samus puts her hand on the wall as she's looking like into the hole. It is so cool, right? Adam is back too, unfortunately, right? I really didn't like Adam. He's kind of the reason that Other M was a little bit ruined for me, but he's not really that annoying in this game, so, you know, at least there's that. And then finally, I think I encountered maybe 1 or 2 Emmys. Basically those giant like robot creatures following Samus, right, throughout different sections of the game. And let me tell you, I had a heart attack. I'm playing this game, right, and these things are following you, right? It's not like SAX from Metroid Fusion. If an Emmy follows you, the door is basically closed and you're kind of like locked in there. And these things are fast, right? They like follow your noise. You're running, you're trying to get away. Samus is like this huge character with like metal armor. She makes a lot of noise, right? And so these things are on you at all times. I had a heart attack, I'm sweating, I died a lot of times, right? Like it's not a very easy game, but I'm having a nice time. It was just awesome, right? It was awesome. And I can't wait to play more. I would 100% recommend people pick it up, give it a try, support the series, right? Support Metroid. I'm seeing articles everywhere that say, you know, Metroid Dread is Amazon's #1 most pre-order game of this year. Metroid Dread has outperformed Metroid Prime 3 on the Wii by like 1,000,000 times. And that's not even counting the digital versions of the game. I'm seeing Nintendo market this game like billboards everywhere, posters, right? Basically they spent the last like 1 or 2 months on Twitter, right, leading up to October 8th, nothing but Metroid Dread news and like pictures and just history of Metroid, right? If you go onto Nintendo's YouTube channel, right, their entire banner right there is Metroid Dread, right, like release October 8th. If you scroll through their videos, the last like maybe 10 or 20 videos sprinkled in there are Metroid Dread related, right? And it brings me a little tear. I couldn't look at any of that stuff because like I was going in blind. I didn't want to know anything about the game. I only saw the E3 trailer and I wanted to just play it myself, right? usually at Best Buy, Nintendo has like this giant poster right in front of the store, right? Like right when you're walking through the door. And this thing is probably like 30 feet long, right? I remember seeing it when Super Mario Maker was coming out, as well as the new, Pokemon Snap. And so I haven't been to Best Buy yet, but how cool would that be if you just see Samus on this giant poster as you're walking right there? Like, that would be awesome, right? That's the kind of marketing I want to see. Let people know that it's coming out, not just hardcore fans, but like people who've never played Metroid or people who have a Switch, right? Let this game do good, because if it does, then that means maybe, Metroid Prime 4 isn't going to come out in 19 years. Maybe it'll come out in only 18 years, right? And then maybe the next Metroid game after that will come out in 17 years or something, right? With that said, I've had an awesome experience with the Metroid Dread launch day. I had a nice time, talking to people. It was weird, it was awkward sometimes, right? Going to like stores, but it was a hoot. It was insane. It was intense. It was stressful. It was hardcore, but I wouldn't have it any other way, right? The game turned out awesome. I'm having a swell time. People online seem to be enjoying it too. And basically, I think after 2.5 hours of me just sitting here and talking about, my experience with the launch day, even though it was like 50-minute, condensed version, I hope, the viewers, you enjoyed the ride with me, from start to finish. If you want to see more videos like this, consider supporting me on Patreon, ladies and gentlemen, because I couldn't be doing these videos without it, right? So thank you past, present, and future Patreons for helping me throughout the years, and I hope that, not only my videos, but also my channel grows from this point on. With that said, ladies and turds, I think there's only one more way to, finish this video off. If you're looking for the amiibo, good luck. If you're looking for the special edition, good luck. Samus Aran is back. Metroid is back. Go play Metroid Dread. Go support, the game. I'll see you next mission. Also, I'm definitely reviewing this game once my shelves and room are finished. I just need a little bit more time for that, to happen. And just a fun fact here, this video actually took me 2 weeks to completely edit. And so now that we're basically almost, at the end of October, there's one more thing left for me to say. Happy Halloween, ladies and turds. I hope everyone out there gets nice and fat on, all the chocolate you eat. I hope you walk around the streets in your awesome costumes. This is definitely my favorite season of the entire year, and I wanted to celebrate with this derpy looking, pumpkin here, and it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. This is basically, all I could finish in the time I had if I still wanted to upload this video on October 2021. See what I did there? But if you want to see the final version of this pumpkin in time for Halloween, then come follow me on Twitter at the Slovak Mountain Man. With that said, ladies and turds, I hope you enjoyed this crazy story, right? Getting a broken cup here and then gluing it together. Finding some $10 pins over here after I got bootleg from GameFlop. And then also seeing the amiibos out in the wild and being able to get one for myself. And this entire story was just completely insane, right? From everything that happened to actually editing, it was hardcore, and I would have never expected that to happen with the Metroid Dread launch. But I think it turned out pretty awesome, and so I hope everyone watching thought so as well. With that said, I will see you all on another lovely video. Goodbye everybody, goodbye. Oh lordy, it's kind of hot in there. I'm already sweating and it's really hot in there. I can barely breathe.